Hello and welcome. I'm a little early, but I've got to tweet out the link, so give me a moment. Uh, YouTube is starting some new way of doing Hangouts. It's a little strange. I went through the process of doing it where you have to use an encoder, and then I clicked back and I got the direct, like, just click on here and you're live, which is much easier for me. But anyway, so hopefully this will still work. And we can probably kill this. We'll leave it for now. All right, let me just go tweet out this link and then we'll get started. Also, I can check in with the comments by clicking on here. Thank you for your patience as we go along here. I went through the process of doing it where you have to use an encoder. There we go, mute that. Andrea is already in the chat audience. Thank you for coming early. 11 p.m. in Melbourne, Australia. G'day. Good evening. How are you, Bruce? I'm fine, Bruce. Melbourne turned 180 years old today. Well, happy birthday. Huggers is also here. Fukushima Jack, Mills, all kinds of people in the house. I'll say hello. I guess I'll be, who am I today? I'm Taisha Jason or Jason C. Harris in the comments. All right, let me go to Twitter. And we'll tweet that out so people know. All right, I think that's good. Now we want to put this over here so I can see the comments. Up here so I can see my face. All right, everybody hear me okay? Any problems? Raise your hand. Taylor, get there, kudasai. Howdy from Mississippi. James, good to see you. What is CDAT dot? What is CDAT? I'm like, is this some kind of new programming languages? Fukushima Jack, that is my middle initial, which is something interesting that you will have to explain to your Japanese kids. Japanese people only have 2 names. I mean, there are very, very few instances where that's not true. They have a first name and a last name, so they're not used to people having 3 names or more. And obviously a lot of Americans have a middle name, and a lot of Brits and Australians, etc. as well. So yeah, they're not used to that. Or, you know, say you're like, my friend's name is Peter James or something, so he goes by PJ. You know, I could go by JC, but there's kind of a slightly more famous person that sort of uses those initials. So I let him have that. Hey, Patrick, what's up, man? Somebody from Houston, good to see you. Texas represent. Kron in the audience, hello. Yeah. And my kids, you know, when they would find out sometimes, I had a group of boys that were real troublemakers, but they were fun kids. I mean, they weren't bad boys. They just liked to give people the business. And they found out my middle name, Christopher, which is Christopher. And so they started to call me Chris. So they'd be like, Chris. You know, not even Chris Sensei or, you know, Chris San, just Chris. So I had to disabuse them of that notion. Yeah, that's true. I guess that's true. Korean people typically do have 3 names, don't they? So, and it will. There's no way to get around the fact that Japanese people are used to last name and then first name, and you can try to make them change for Western style, but I've found that there's no reason that they can't introduce themselves as, you know, hello, I am Ono Yoko, you know, then please call me Yoko. So as long as you say that, then a Western person knows that that's how you want to be named or called, and they can probably figure out, you know, that Ono is your last name and Yoko is your first name. So there's no problem with keeping that cultural identity intact, but, you know, sometimes when they're writing it on papers or something, it'll take me a second, and I just wish they would all do it one way or the other. In most of the time, after you've worked in Japan for a while, I've obviously worked here a number of years now, you start to figure out what's a last name and what's a first name. I still sometimes get a name where I'm like, is that a boy or a girl? And you'll get a boy or a girl whose a name is typically one, just like you get here in the States. Most Kellys you meet are what, girls or boys, So, I had a girl named Akira, Akira, and she, pronounced it the same way. I don't know what kanji she used for it, but, so that's unusual. Or you'll have a boy named, you have a lot of boys. This is a very, very typical one. If you come here to teach, you'll get this for sure, which is Yuki and Yuki. And I'll even type it in here. And so what you get is there's different kanji, and Yuki with no, elongated oo sound is generally a girl. And of course that can also mean snow, but it can mean many things when you combine the kanji. But Yuki can mean courage. And so it's a very common boy name. And of course, when especially if you're new to the language, you're going to look at it and just go, oh, Yuki or Yuki. And so sometimes you do have to be a little bit aware of dragging out that syllable. If you come and say, hey, I'm going to Osaka for the weekend, people will be like, where? Osaka? Where's that? And then you can be like, oh, no, I'm going to Osaka. And you're like, oh, Osaka, okay, hi, wakarimashita. I'd be like, so, because it's not Tokyo, it's Tokyo, So, you'll get people, even though you think, well, I'm saying this the same way I've said it for hundreds of years, and people will look at you like, where are you going? Mr. Cordy, but you made it. That's the important thing. Ben Duncan, sup, brother? So today, as I promised in my Facebook page, I'm going to be doing a taste test of strong Pepsi. This is the packaging here in Japan. Fairly blue and red, very typical Pepsi packaging, which I saw at the store the other day. I went, oh, they have Pepsi. And then I said, oh, it's strong. And the very first product they brought out with this strong designation was this, which has got black packaging with a blue cap. Still, Pepsi looking, but not as recognizable. And they call this Strong Zero. And so I bought a bottle of this thinking, oh, well, I'll try it. And this is basically Pepsi Next, their diet cola with extra caffeine. So I tried it, and it's okay, but it's still got that kind of aftertaste that you get from whatever they use to make it, sweet, even though it has no calories, aspartame or whatever it is. Like Equal or whatever those sugar substitutes are. So I'm curious, I've never tried this before. I'm curious if this is regular Pepsi taste and it just has added caffeine, because I don't care about the added caffeine, because this is all over my local store. I can't buy regular Pepsi. I think if you follow my channel, you know about my frustrations trying to buy regular Pepsi here in my very rural area of Japan. And so if this tastes normal and all they've done is add caffeine to it, I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to be gulping it down all the time. And it's already past 10 o'clock here in Japan. So maybe it's not the best time to drink, a Red Bull's worth of caffeine. But yeah. So it says caffeine here at the bottom, if I'm reading this right, per 100 ml, and this is 500 ml in the whole bottle, is 19 mg. So whatever 19 times 5 is, it's what, like 95? 95 mg for this whole bottle of caffeine. This is the same, but see, this is 0 calorie, and this is 46 calories per 100 ml. So this is 46 times 5, which is almost 50 times 5. So that's what, 250 minus about 20. So that's about 230 calories. So this sounds like a regular bottle of Pepsi. And this sounds like their diet version, and they just both have extra caffeine. What I should have done, well, see, I can't buy a regular bottle of Pepsi to compare how much caffeine is in a regular bottle. But anyway, I'm going to crack them open here in a minute, and we'll try them, and I'll tell you what I think, because this could be an astonishing revelation for me anyway. Because I would definitely drink one of these during my school day, because, you know, I don't mind the extra caffeine when I'm working and stuff. But anyway, yeah, and that's just how they branded it, strong Pepsi. But, you know, see, so that doesn't bother me at all. But this, I guess, has been pretty popular because it came out, and they'll try things for 6 months, and then you'll never see them again. But this has come out and pretty much replaced Pepsi Next at my store. They really don't sell the other diet version anymore. They just sell this. So I guess Japanese people, in whatever kind of, you know, polls they do and taste tests they do, say, you know, we want a little bit more caffeine in our beverages. So anyway, all right, let's see what we got going on here. Emily is in the house. Hello. Who else? Shubas. Panama. You must get so tired of that. Yeah, don't make fun of cola. If you're gonna hate on cola, go talk to Hiko about butter instead. You know where you can go. No. Pepsi, that's right. Badass. What was that guy? Strong Bad. Wasn't he the little guy in like the helmet that used to be like on the internet before the internet got to be like where it is now? He could be their spokesman for this. I guess though having bad in your name is not good when you're talking about something. I did try Coke Life, the green one. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. It's again, you know, it's the chemically aftertaste because it's fake sugar. So yeah, I just don't like it. I've never really found a Diet Cola I can hang with, unfortunately. I wish I could. Okay, so I've been opening my, to go along with other things, I've been opening my Star Wars little, it's kind of like a cookie. Well, see, I'm getting shit everywhere. You can kind of see, it's got a little chocolate in the middle of like a wafer. And I've been getting, now I made a mess, guys. It's all your fault. And I've been getting stickers. So today I got a double. This is Darth Vader. There he is. That's his name in katakana. And there, you know, there's a series of them. So he's number 21 out of 24. But I'm actually down now. I've gotten 19 of 24. So I only need 5 more. And I've got the whole set. And these wafer things, you get 1 sticker in each package. They are $1, basically 100 yen a go. So I've been giving away the extras to my Eikaiwa kids. But I'm hoping that I can finish it off in the next, you know, obviously the more you get, the more doubles you're going to encounter. But if I can still get 1 or 2 more, I'll feel like I did a good job. All right, Patrick has a question. I'm thinking of coming to Japan. I know the Japanese currency has gone down in value. Is it hard to make a living there now? Or have prices of everything adjusted? That's a good question, Patrick. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, I think I talked about this in last week's vlog or something, but basically the basic jet salary, have I ever had a spider drink? Andrea asked. No, I don't think I have. The basic jet salary is 3.6 million yen a year, or 300,000 yen a month. We in Japan call that 30 mon. Okay, 1 mon is 10,000 yen, which is about $100 in the old, 100 yen to $1 conversion. So now that 3.6 million yen used to be about $36,000 American for a year's salary. And at times it's been even more if the yen goes the other way. But right now, you take 36,000 yen, you end up with about $30,000 a year. But again, it doesn't matter what you can buy with your salary in America. It matters how well you can live in Japan on what they pay you, right? And so this is, I think, what your question is. It's a good question. The cost of living has definitely gone up. There's no doubt. In the 5 years, and this is going to be my theme a little bit tonight, I'm going to talk about the fact that tomorrow is August 31st, so it's actually Tuesday. Tuesday is my 5-year anniversary since I came back to Japan the second time. I've been back now 5 years. I didn't start working at my university right away. I took the first week after I got here and went to sports days and things in Izumo, where I used to work as an ALT. But I flew back to Japan on September 1st. in 2010. So it's been 5 years since I moved back. And definitely in the past 5 years, more so than in the first 5 years, the cost of things has gone up. I mean, Hiko will tell you all about butter. But yeah, it's just going to the store. I'll tell you this. I go to the store and I buy for one, I buy for me, and I'm a big guy, but I don't buy a ton of stuff. Like I don't eat a lot when I'm at home, unless I'm off like right now because I'm eating, 3 meals a day. I eat a very Spartan breakfast, I eat a lightish lunch, and then I have an okay dinner. And so I go to the grocery store twice a week. I have to because my refrigerator is so small. And Japan doesn't have a lot of frozen food. And my freezer is tiny. So I have to buy a lot of fresh food, and you can't buy a gallon of milk here. It just is not sold that way. It's not even sold in like, what's half a gallon. You have to buy it in these kind of like what we would call maybe a quart containers. There's just a lot of things are smaller, and maybe if you go to Costco, you can buy some big things, but basically normal grocery store, you're buying smaller amounts and you're buying a lot of fresh food because Japanese people like it that way, and there's no problem with that. And I used to spend about 5,000 yen each time I'd go to the grocery store. And it fluctuates. Sometimes you're going to buy meat and stuff that's a little more expensive. Sometimes you have to buy something you only buy maybe once a month, like toothpaste or something, that's a little bit more expensive than an average item in your cart, but you don't buy it every week. I like bananas on my cereal, so I spend money on bananas. Bananas are kind of expensive here. Fruit in general is kind of expensive here. But I like it. I like pineapple. I used to buy like chopped up pineapple to eat as a snack. Anyway, so I've noticed that lately I can't really get out of the store for less than about 6,000 yen. And I just went to the store the other day and I didn't think I was buying that much, and it ended up costing me about 7,000 yen. And it's still the same kind of 2 bags of groceries that I normally get. So definitely some things are getting more expensive here. And you can bargain shop when you go to the grocery store, and there's all kinds of ways to stretch your dollar there. But I don't mind so much if I'm spending money on food, because I know I'm going to eat it and it's going in my body, and it's all good. It's not like I'm buying a Gundam toy or a DVD even that's kind of a luxury item or something. Food is food and you need it. So I've never been really picky. Like I like Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. They have a cheaper generic Japanese brand that I could buy, and it would save me probably $2-3 a month. So that's that's a lot over the course of a year. But I don't buy it. I buy Kellogg's. I like Kellogg's. I like the way they taste. I spend a little extra. They do have Costco in Japan, Shubas, not near where I am. Well, the closest one to me is Hiroshima, so I could become a member there. It costs it costs money to be joined, just like in America, and I would have to drive there. It's about 2 hours away by car. But yeah, if you're close to one, they have more Western foods, and then they have bigger packages of things. But anyway, so that's groceries. I've noticed that gasoline kind of fluctuates. It's been very high, been very low. Right now, it's about 150 yen to the liter. And that's like 4 liters to the gallon, so that's about $6 a gallon. Well, you'd have to do the math, but anyway. So gas is more expensive here than in America, but probably cheaper than it might be in some other countries in Europe, etc. If you smoke, cigarettes are incredibly cheap here, people tell me. Going out to eat for dinner, about the same. I mean, $10, 800 to 1,000 yen will buy you a decent meal. If you want obviously more, if you want to go to a restaurant with waiter service, and you don't have to tip here. Tax is fairly low at like 8.5%, I think it is. No, it's 8%, I think. So yeah, I don't know. My rent is $500 approximately a month. Well, see, I keep using an old exchange rate. I have no idea what it is in the new exchange rate. 4,800 yen. 4,800 yen. Wow, that would be cheap rent. 4 mon, 8,000 yen, or 48,000 yen per month is my rent. I set aside about 2 mon a month for bills, and about a mon for my cell phone, my Keitai, my smartphone. So, and then I rent my car, I lease my car. So altogether, I spend about 10 mon, or about $1,000 on just my monthly nut, if you want to call it that, of rents and car and utilities and smartphone, getting my haircut and gasoline in the car. You know, that kind of stuff is about 10 mon a month. And then everything after that is, you know, gravy, is money that I can spend on food, entertainment, traveling, you know, buying things on Amazon, etc. So just see whatever salary they're offering, take out about 10 mon and see where you are, you know. But I mean, that's also, I live in a very rural place with a low cost of living, insofar as I don't travel a lot. I never have to take buses or trains because I have a car, but I mean, I don't drive out of my city a lot. The only time I generally do is to go see movies. You know, I mean, I run my air conditioner. Some other people might say, oh, I'll sweat a little bit and be okay, but I just like to be comfortable if I'm sitting around. But anyway, all right, so that, hopefully that answered your question. I still think this jet salary is more than enough to get by on, especially if you're a young person with very little accumulated debt in your life. I think it's a fine salary and you'll have no problem. You know, so my rent on jet, that's a good question, Fukushima Jack. It was subsidized, which was nice. It started out being 2 mon a month, and then for some reason, when Ismo took over my last 2 years, it was only 1 mon a month. So I started out paying $200 a month for my apartment, and I ended up my last 2 years only paying $100 a month for my apartment. Very, very cheap. So yeah, I'll never live, you know, and it was a nice apartment. I mean, you guys have probably seen it if you've watched some of my old videos. It had plenty of room, especially for one person. And yeah, actually the new job I'm hoping to get, that I applied for, the apartment again is subsidized, and it's less than a mon a month for the rent. I don't know how big it is yet, but still, I mean, that's going to be a huge savings right there. Okay, let's do our taste test because I'm kind of thirsty, and then we'll start talking about 5 years ago. So which one should I try first? Strong. I'll try the one that I think I know what it tastes like because I've had it before. Strong Zero. All right. So this, like I said, is kind of like Pepsi Next. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of got that sort of biting, sweet, you know, immediate sweet taste because of the chemical or the artificial sweetener. And it's not terrible. I mean, certainly if I was at like a hosted function or a party or something, and this was their cola option, I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't hate it, but I certainly wouldn't buy it to drink at home all the time. I'm going to let that kind of go. I'm actually going to eat just a normal Hershey chocolate here. Kind of cleanse my palate. See if I've missed anything interesting. God, we got all kinds of people in the comments. Sorry, a little burping. 28 people. Hello, 28 people. So let's talk first world problems. Let's talk first world problems, and this is what's been vexing me this week. Right. Eat half of that because I gotta be able to chew. No one watch me chew. This is my Batman Akira shirt. The Bat Pod. I love the vehicles in the Christopher Nolan movies. They're great. Game of Thrones. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. And if you can see behind me down there where I have all my Blu-rays, I have seasons 2, 3, and 4 on Blu-ray. I like the Blu-rays. They're nicely packaged. You know, they've got some fun extras that I enjoy watching. Shalom. Hello, Christopher. Sean Bro's in the house. Let's see who else. I don't know who Ben's talking to. I don't live in a castle. Emily is here. And so I've been interested in buying the Blu-rays, you know, but I've always known that you have to kind of wait. HBO is very stingy about what they put out, and it's like the season will end, and whenever it ends, May or June, and then it's like all the way till next year, like March, before they put out the series. But there's no other way to get it unless you pirate it, torrent it. So I've always been fine waiting, but for some reason, HBO has now decided to offer the series on iTunes and other streaming services starting tomorrow. So, but the Blu-ray is still coming out next year in March. So it's like I could pay the same price. It's basically the same price. The Blu-ray is about $40, and they want $38.99 for the whole season streaming through iTunes. But what was I going to say? And of course, you know, if I bought the Blu-ray, there'd be a delay in how, you know, shipping it here, and, you know, I don't get to start watching at that moment. And of course, some small amount of shipping. So I'd probably pay about $45 for the Blu-ray. So I think for the first time in a while, I did actually buy the first season through iTunes because I didn't know what it was then. I didn't know what I was getting into. So I just bought like a few episodes to try it out, loved it, then bought the rest of the whole season. I think I'm gonna, you know, I'm not gonna buy the Blu-ray. I don't know why they're cutting off the legs of their Blu-ray. If they're gonna offer it online or something, why don't they then offer the Blu-ray a week later or 2 weeks later, or, you know, at the same time? I just don't understand why they think one is so different than the other. And I mean, it's basically saying fuck you to the Blu-ray people. You know, especially now because I'm on, you know, summer vacation. I have like nothing to do. I want stuff to watch. So of course, you know, so tomorrow I'm probably going to pay the $40 and start watching it. Well, knowing me, like a lot of you guys, I'll binge watch it and probably watch the whole damn thing in a week, because I'll watch 2 or 3 a day. But anyway, it's just I don't get that at all. And then the other one was, yeah, don't spoil anything. Don't spoil anything. I'm just starting season 5, which is already over if you've watched it, you know, on HBO or whatever. I do use iTunes to watch shows from time to time. I don't like to pirate. I like to pay people for their content. They're creators. They worked hard. I realize if you're in America, it's a different feeling because you're like, I could go and just watch this for free. Now, HBO, you can't watch for free. But like Fox and NBC and these types of shows, you can. And so, you know, it's a little much. Big Bang Theory is a show I like, you know, not surprisingly, being a big nerd. And Modern Family is another sitcom I enjoy watching. Well, they're both about $35. I think one's $30 and one's $35. If you want to subscribe to the season coming up that's just about to start and get every episode as it comes out, you know, say 3 or 4 hours after it's on the air in America. And I've done that in the past. You know, it's HD quality, and I have an Apple TV, so I can watch it on my big television. I'm not watching it on my small laptop. And I like Gotham, season 1 of Gotham. And I think I paid $20 or $25 because it was a new show, it was unproven, for the whole first season of Gotham. And now I looked, and season 2 is about to start. They want $50, $49.99 for the second season of Gotham, which is like $2.25 an episode. And that to me just seems really freaking greedy for a show that's on Fox, that's completely free if you live in America. I just don't get it. You know, $15 more than Big Bang Theory. And I realize one's an hour drama, one's a half hour, but I mean, that's not really important. So I'm not going to pay it. I mean, I'm just not. They're probably going to force me to torrent the damn thing. And it's stupid. You know, they're like, if they weren't so greedy, I guess they're losing out on so much revenue. So many other people are giving up on cable in America and, you know, just using YouTube and you know, Netflix and stuff. And this is the way they've decided to do it. But yeah, I can't pay it. Even though, you know, it's like, yeah, it's just like there's something psychological. I just can't pay $50 for a TV show that's free if I were living in America. So anyway, Emily says, yeah, I am super excited about Netflix coming to Japan. Netflix is starting in September, supposedly, which is obviously just around the corner. And Amazon Prime is starting some service, which I've heard different things about the Amazon Prime service. All the description of it is in Japanese if you go to amazon.co.jp. But I haven't really been able to read it and figure it out. But it looks like you can either pay 3,900 yen, about $40 for the year, and you know, and then you can just watch whatever. It's kind of like all included, or you can pay 360 yen a month, which would be more than 3,900 yen, but not by much if you paid it over 12 months. So I guess maybe if you just want to try it out, like you can pay month to month. Anyway, I don't know what Amazon Prime is offering other than they have some of their own original programming. But Netflix, some of the Netflix stuff like House of Cards, Daredevil. I mean, Orange is the New Black. I think that's Netflix. Is it? Yeah, I think so. I mean, those are great shows. I watch all those shows. So anyway, okay, strong Pepsi. Let's try it. Here we go, folks. Is it going to taste the same as normal Pepsi? I wish I had a can of normal Pepsi just to make sure, but my highly intuitive taste buds, years of cola drinking, I think are ready. Doesn't smell of chemicals. That's good. There you go. Yes, I think we have a winner. I think this is basically Pepsi with just more caffeine. Cheers. All right, so that makes me excited. I can stop buying Coke for a while until either this goes away or I haven't seen it in bigger bottles. It's never really here to stay until I see it in bigger bottles. But anyway, it is regular. I'm pretty sure it is regular Pepsi with just more caffeine. And this is Diet Pepsi with more caffeine. So if you're ever in Japan and you're curious, that's what those are. So anyway, all right, I wanted to talk a little bit about anything you guys want to talk about, but also I had some topics. What do we got? We're at 10:30. You guys are still talking about downloading music and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first guys. I'll be the first people to adopt Netflix and stuff. I'll let you guys know what it's like for sure. Yeah, well, I haven't, I haven't really been going to bed at a regular hour. I've been on vacation now for almost a month, and I've been staying up like later and later. Like the other day, there's music that plays at 6 a.m. to like wake people up and say, "Ooh, it's daytime now. Get up, go out in the rice, harvest the rice." And I was literally like going to bed when the music was playing. And my whole circadian rhythm, or whatever that's called, is so out of whack. Today, I literally got up at like 10 a.m., was up for like an hour. I ate breakfast, I read the newspaper, and then normally I start my day. And I was just, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to go back to bed because I'd gone to sleep at like 4 a.m. And I went back to bed and like kind of got up and, peed and went back to bed again. And this is probably TMI. And I got up the third time and I looked at the clock and it was fucking 5 o'clock at night. So like 5 hours ago, and I was just like, holy shit. I mean, yeah, my body needs sleep sometimes, but damn, I'm just so out of rhythm. And like Tuesday, I have to drive to Hiroshima to like turn in my visa paperwork. And I've got to be like alert and awake because I'm driving by myself and navigating on some roads I've never been on, and you know, way more traffic in Hiroshima than there is in my town. So I'm going to be hitting a lot more cars and lanes and stuff that I'm used to. So it's like I've got to like jog myself back into sort of a normal daytime rhythm tomorrow somehow. I don't know, stay up extra or not sleep tomorrow, or I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, this probably isn't helping. Anyway, hold your colors. I made the final cut for the Kobe job, and I find out October 1st. So I'll certainly let you guys know. In the meantime, I'm going to apply for one other job that sounds good. So I'll have two in the frying pan, as it were. The other one, though, wants a copy of my diploma. And they say, I emailed the guy in charge, and I said, you know, I don't know that I have my diploma in Japan. You know, I think it's in a box in America somewhere. And he's like, well, we're going to need it. We don't necessarily need it to, like, you know, read your stuff and interview you, but we need it if you get the job because we have to show it to Japan to get your work visa. I went, wow, okay. And this is probably true because I remember way back in JET, I had to show them a copy of my diploma. And I think when I started my university job, see, when I started my university job, I was coming from America. I don't think I brought the diploma with me here. And to get a copy of a diploma, I looked on the UCSD website. I graduated from the University of California in San Diego. It's like $60 and it takes like 6 weeks. So neither of those are fun. But if you want to rush it, it's $92 and they won't mail it to Japan though. They'll do it in 6 to 7 days, but I would have to then mail it to my sister and then have her turn around and mail it to me. And it'd end up costing like $125 or something, I'm sure. And it's just like a pain in the ass. So anyway, Emily is asking, am I going to the summer YouTube party next week? No, I'm not. I wish I could. I'm really poor in the summer, which is one of the reasons I'm kind of changing, you know, trying to change jobs. I basically figured out, you know, this job is great. I love it. It's been good. I've been here for 5 years now, which is the same time I was a JET. I'm obviously going to extend past that because I'm about to start another semester. But, you know, I don't get paid when I don't teach. And if you take my salary, you know, all the months I do get paid, and you add them all up and divide by 12, you know, my monthly salary isn't that much more than JET in the end. And it's just not sort of, it's funny though, because I'll never again have this much free time. I mean, normally I've gone home in the summers for like 5 or 6 weeks. But yeah, it's tough. You know, you have to really budget and think about, you know, saving money and this and that. And so hopefully this new job will work out and be even better. Yeah, it's bummer. Yeah, September Sumo, 1K Palmer. It's true. Starts, the Bonds-K will be out tomorrow, the 31st, Monday. So I will probably put a video up on my Sumo channel sometime this week, if I can get over my lazies and my weird time sleeping disorder. And we'll talk about the Bonds-K and who's where and what we should expect from September. I should be here every single day. I can't imagine. One day I have to drive to Hiroshima. After I drop everything off this Tuesday, I have to then usually go back about 2 weeks later and pick everything up. So I might have to miss one day because I'll have to drive to Hiroshima to get my new visa. They won't mail it. It's just bureaucratic pain in the ass is what it is. So yeah, but I should be here almost 100% for Sumo. And I'm looking forward to it. If you're a Sumo fan, let me type this in here in the comments. John Gunning is a guy on Facebook, and I think his Facebook isn't a personal account. It's a page you can like, I think, or follow. And he publishes some great photos. He's an Irish guy who does the play-by-play commentary on a few of the days every bus show. Not every day by any. He's not a regular NHK worker, but he's a guest host, a guest commentator. And so we've kind of chatted a few times, and you know, it's kind of a standing invitation if I ever make it to Tokyo that he would take me around and show me. And they just had a sumo kind of competition for people from other countries, and Baruto was there, so it was good to see him. And this is all through pictures on John's page. So if you're a sumo fan, try to see if you can like his page or follow his page, because he puts out some great photos. He's a very good photographer, black and white and color, and just really kind of inside stuff. He's also been really helpful in getting the Canadian guy that we've talked about, Brody Henderson, into sumo. All right. Jason, are you Jewish? No. And why would you ask? Do I seem Jewish? I'm not, in fact. Oh, we're still talking about spiders in the comments. We have definitely some big ass spiders here. But I haven't had that many. I mean, I'm going to say that now, and tomorrow I'm going to have a big one in my shower or something. But yeah, I haven't had that many this summer. And luckily, we've just had really weird weather in Japan. I thought I would just be sweaty every day and always having to use my aircon, but it's been so rainy and overcast that it's really kept the temperature down. And you know, like my friends in Tokyo are like posting like temperatures in like the 70s Fahrenheit, you know, like the low 20s Celsius for Tokyo this time of year, which is crazy. Like, you know, people are actually like taking like a light jacket out with them, you know, and stuff. So Robin Japan says, have I ever been to Ishikawa? I don't believe so. And forgive me, Rob, tell me where Ishikawa is. Which of the 4 islands is it on? I'm not exactly sure where Ishikawa is. So I might have traveled through it, but I don't think I've ever been to it. My last name is Wolf, W-O-L-F. No, it's not. Somebody else. Are you talking to somebody else? But my last name is not Wolf. Well, yeah, I mean, Australia, you know, everything is trying to kill you in Australia. You know, you have the frickin', what is it, box jellyfish, like the deadliest animal on the planet. You know, people think it's like great white sharks or something, but it's this box jellyfish that kills everyone. Yeah. So yeah, it is. It's been really nice. I mean, I haven't had to just totally run my aircon, and I totally scrubbed it the other day when it was really warm, because it wasn't putting out a lot of coldness, and I took out the 2 filters and cleaned them all and everything, put everything back, and it's just been working so much better since I did that. So if you're in Japan, clean your aircon unit. It's totally worth it. It will work much better. My last name is Voorhees, yes. Or Statham, you know, if you're in the mood. I don't mind Statham. All right, so yeah, so one of the things that happened to me when I came back to Japan, and I don't have a lot more time because I always try to get out of the way for Hiko, is I bought a one-way ticket because I knew I was coming back to work, and I knew I wasn't going to go back again within 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is. So I bought a one-way ticket. Now, Anglanese, yes. I mean, that is part of my reason for wanting to change jobs and move to Kobe. Is that, yeah, I mean, I've been now 10 years in the Inaka, in the countryside, and I would love to be in a big city with lots to do and restaurants and movie theaters and young people and, you know, yeah, I mean, nightlife and choices and, you know, I mean, entertainment options, and, you know, and, you know, Kobe comes with, you know, Busan Kevin lives there, who I know, PJ Kansai, you know, PJ lives in Osaka. I have another friend who lives in Osaka that used to be a student, you know, just concerts and things that happen, and just it would just be a world of difference to where I live now. So I can't, I mean, I really want it, but, you know, I have no idea how many people they interviewed and stuff like that. My interview went well. I think I did well. So I hope I get it, fingers crossed, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Sticks out into the sea northwest of Tokyo. Ah, Naruhodo, Rob, in Japan. No, I've never been there. I have never been there, and I'm remembering it now on a map. Is that where you live, Rob, Japan, in Ishikawa? What's famous in Ishikawa? Fukushima Jack is asking this deep philosophical, moral ethical question about Batman, which I don't know if I'm going to start to answer right now, but I totally would answer that, Fukushima Jack. Ask it again next week, more toward the beginning of the program, and I'll go off on that. But anyway, let me talk about one-way tickets. So when you first come to Japan, if you're a jet, they fly you over. They pay for your flight, and you fly over from your consulate with a whole big group of other jets. If you're an Interact or if you come with some other companies, I think you're responsible for your own transportation and getting here. So you can obviously figure it out any way you want. And that's where you could run into the same problem I had. So this is kind of why I'm telling people. But anyway, so jet flies you over, and obviously when you land, they take you through immigration. You're a big group, and they know, and they're stamping passports and blah 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 blah. And you don't have your card yet that says you live in Japan and stuff like that. And then when you leave Japan, they obviously buy you a one-way ticket to fly home. And this is where sometimes there's problems, because some jets don't want to go right home when they leave. They want to go to China, or they want to go to Australia and visit their friend, or wherever they live. They might not want to go there right after they finish jet. But anyway, that's something you have to work out with your Board of Education. They might give you money equal to a ticket or something like that. But anyway, so when you go back to your home country, though, I think because you have a passport of that country, like I'm an American and I have an American passport, so if I'm flying one way to America, I live there, or I have a residence there, et cetera, I'm a citizen of that country, you don't get that much guff going through immigration and stuff coming in one way. Perhaps you do. I don't know. I can't remember there being a problem when I did fly home from jet. But when I flew one way back to Japan, they stopped me at immigration, and they weren't going to let me in. Because when I left Japan after jet, the guy was like, "Why are you leaving?" or something like that, or I don't know what he said. He was speaking English though, and anyway, I just said, "Oh, I finished my job. I just finished my job as a teacher in Shimane." He's like, "Oh, so you're going back home to your home country?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, well, you won't need this then." And he took my card, my resident card, and I still had a year to go on it. In hindsight, I wouldn't have said that, and I wouldn't have let him take that card, because it would have got me back into the country and stuff easier on subsequent visits. But anyway, so when I came back a year later in 2010, I bought a one-way flight. Generally, they're supposed to be cheaper, but this was only about $300 cheaper than a round trip. So I would have, now knowing what I know, I would have paid for the round trip and then just never used the second half of it. To avoid this hassle. But anyway, so because they're like, why do you want to come here? You're coming here as a tourist, but you're not going to leave, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to be a tourist. I've got a job. I'm gonna, but they don't believe you, and so I got lucky. I flew in at like 4 or 4:30, and they took me to this detention holding area and had me sit. I mean, it wasn't like a cell. I mean, it was like on a couch in a room, and luckily, I had a contact number for the university, and I had a paper from them that said I was going to get a job, but it wasn't that official, or maybe it was just an email that I printed out or something. Anyway, it had my boss's phone number on it, and they called her, and luckily, I mean, it was September. So luckily, she was in her office when they called. I mean, if she had been out for the day or gone somewhere else or anything, and she picked up and said, "Yeah, I know him. Yes, he's coming here to work. Yes, please let him through, blah, blah, blah." And so they let me go. If not, I don't know what would have happened to me. I might have to have stayed and stayed overnight and waited until they could get in contact with her And I don't think I had her cell phone or anything at that point. I knew other people in Shimane that I could have maybe called. But anyway, so if you fly over here, definitely look at the prices of one way versus, you know, a round trip ticket. And if it's not that big a difference, get the round trip and just save yourself any hassle, because you know, it's a little scary, and you know, it's obviously, you know, you're tired, you've been on a, you know, a 12-hour flight, and you know, blah blah blah, and you just, you know, you're just trying to get where you're going. And I don't know where, I think I flew into Osaka that time, and I was supposed to then get on like the night bus or something. So I had a little bit of time between when I landed and when I got on the bus to Shimane. And anyway, I think it didn't really disrupt my plans that much, but it could have, and it would have just been, you know, just this. So yeah, don't do that. But yeah, I've been here 5 years, woohoo! And I just realized that, you know, I've talked a little bit about, you know, moving apartments or improvements I want to make, or, you know, the fact that I have like stuff in my life, you know, like that if I lived in America in an apartment, I would probably have a bookshelf with like some toys and books, and I just don't have any of that here because I've never brought it over thinking, okay, well, this is my life. But it really, I mean, it is. I mean, I've lived in this apartment now for 5 years. And sure, I mean, I bought something. I bought a bed, and I bought a couch, and, you know, I bought a nice big TV. And but when I move out, it's not like Jet. You know, when I move, especially if I get this job in Kobe, I'm just a regular dude. You know, everything in the apartment is mine, and I have to take it out or sell it. And I think part of the reason this new apartment is so cheap is that it's an apartment they give to the teacher that works my position, you know, every time they work. And I think it's fully furnished. So I don't know what I'm going to do with a lot of my stuff. Luckily, there's a bunch of Jets that live in my area. Hopefully they'd buy some of it, but, you know, none of them need a washing machine or a refrigerator. They all have that stuff. Of course, college students, maybe they'll buy some stuff off of my students. Say, hey, you know. But anyway, that's going to be a whole thing to tackle, you know, which I haven't really ever experienced. If I have to do that next spring. All right. Are you staying in Japan long term, Jason? Well, Rob, if I get this new job, definitely. I definitely would probably like to do the thing I've talked about before, which is stay until 2020, which is the Olympics, when the Olympics will be in Tokyo. So, yeah, you know, I have no reason to go back to America any time before that, other than obviously if something happens to my father or my sister. I mean, there could be family things that force me to go back, but just of my own volition. The salary I'll be getting at the new job, et cetera, and benefits and everything are fine and good, and I don't see any reason why I couldn't just, you know, do another 5 years here. But yeah, 10 has been a long time, and it's been a long time in Shimane. I think, you know, when we did the interview, they understood, you know, that was part of my motivation for wanting to change. 'Cause, I mean, it is a little strange when you want to go from teaching at a university where you're totally in control of everything, like, you know, I'm in control of my classes and my lessons, and to working, you know, in a junior high school / high school, and sort of being, you know, a co-teacher in some classes, etc. You know, it's not a step down, but it's sort of a step sideways or something. But I explained to them the reasons for it, etc., and I think they understood and stuff. So yeah, you know, we'll see. Do they have idol sumo? They have fake sumo, sure, on, like, you know, talk shows and stuff. You see people doing it, you know, just kind of playing around doing it. But no, I don't think they have. They've talked about having women's sumo, and I think there is a small, you know, women's sumo league or something. But obviously, real sumo is very misogynistic in that they don't want women, you know, touching the ring or anything like that, and they're not allowed, you know, to participate in any way, shape, or form backstage, you know, as a coach, as a manager, anything. So. Briel, I've lived in Japan for almost 10 years now. Before I lived here, where I live now, I lived in another very rural place called Izumo in Shimane-ken, and I was at Jet ALT for 5 years. So I've never lived in a big city in Japan. So, you know, Hiko and I, who's on in 8 minutes, and I'm about to get off for him, I mean, we joke, and it's true. I mean, we live in 2 different Japans. You know, he lives in Tokyo and has, I think, lived in Tokyo almost his entire time in Japan. And, you know, Victor, too. I mean, Nagoya is a very big city. You know, and Kevin. I mean, Kevin's never lived outside of Kobe. It's very, very different than the Japan I live in. And, you know, yeah. So what's funny is I saw Hakuho in a commercial. We're talking about the Yokozuna, the grand champion of sumo. Not him. That's Haruma Fuji, who's coming back, hopefully, this spot show. But I saw him in a commercial, and he's in his total sumo outfit, and it's very much him. They don't say his name or anything, but it's him. You know it's him. And then sort of nondescript opponents in sumo moashi, you know, in the sumo garb, but not famous people you've known, actors or guys from much lower in the ranks. And he's just fighting them off, and the sound effects of him like clashing with them are like shaking the house. And it turns out it's an ad for earthquake proofing. Like you can get your house earthquake proofed. And so he's able to, I guess, advertise, because he's not like holding up something and saying, I like this or something. He's just being himself and doing what a sumo wrestler does. But then they're kind of equating that, you know, motion and that, you know, vibration that he gives off because he's so massively, you know, strong, that they twisted into this commercial for earthquake proofing. And so that was kind of funny because I had never seen him in just a commercial before. But I know that the guys do get endorsement deals. So anyway, all right. I should get out of the way. It's 5 minutes to go for Hiko. Thank you so much for watching this week, guys. Thanks all of you for the thumbs up and the comments and everything. It's very, very cool. Izumo does have the famous shrine, Emily, yes. They're actually about to make a major motion picture here about a woman getting married at Izumo Taisha. Izumo Taisha is the shrine where you go if you are not married and want to find, you want the gods, you know, the kami, the help of the gods to find a mate. So you clap 4 times instead of twice at normal shrines to summon the gods, once for yourself and once for your person that you're seeking. And so yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful shrine, and Izumo is a beautiful area. It's very much off the beaten track. It's very hard to include it in a 2-week let's go to everywhere in Japan itinerary. But if you have time and you can make it out to Izumo, I think it's well worth a diversion from your normal routine of traveling around Japan. All right. See you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know that I'll be here next week, but I probably will. Definitely the week after that, because it'll be sumo, and I'll probably want to talk all about sumo and everything. Anyway, peace. I'll try to check this out. Big Man Japan, is that like a documentary, Ben? Or is that, I know there's a channel called Big Man in Japan or something. But anyway, all right, let's go see Hiko. See you guys. Peace. I'm out.